The following video is brought to you by the guys at the Wrecking and Racing Podcast, a NASCAR podcast made by the fans for the fans. Check them out at www.wreckingandracing.com, facebook.com/wreckingandracing, and Twitter @wreckingandracing. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Saki here, and welcome back to another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season, the 2019 mod, and we are here at Talladega BR. The redone Talladega racetrack, which has a better top groove typically, and we'll try to make that work. It's a plate race. We should expect a tight pack, a tight group, very close racing, and you know, it's a wild card race. Anyone can win if you're in the lead pack. So we're going to try to make it happen today. We've got Brandon to our left there in the black 27 in the wreckingandracing.com podcast Toyota. We're lining up behind a Toyota as well in Eric Jones, 2.66 miles and 18 laps, and we've got 12 laps in the tank. So, we can go past halfway a bit and still have about 6 laps left over. So once we cross lap 6, we'll be within our fuel window. Tires are not going to be a thing. Very low tire wear here at Talladega. It's just all about staying in the gas and pitting when we need fuel. So looking for the green flag. I don't see who's up on the pole there, but we should be able to see him here in a minute if everything goes well. Green flag is out and racing up. Looks like both lines are equal on the start. Everyone pretty much has the same piece under them. And it looks like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. No, that's Kevin Harvick on the pole, interestingly enough. So Kevin Harvick, I believe that's his first pole this year. So congratulations, Kevin. We're going to punch almost 4 wide. In fact, I think we were 4 wide there. That's one thing about the BR track is the AI does not like just staying in 2x2. They will go 3 and sometimes 4 as we're looking to the inside of De Benedetto, and we'll get 3 wide. Looks like Hemrick got that run on the outside in the 8, and we are in the middle 3 wide. Spotters are going into overtime here, dropping back to the bottom under Paul Menard, and we can get a pull on Jimmy Johnson if we can get to the low line, get that pull off Clint Boyer as well. Denny Hamlin up top in the 11 FedEx Toyota, 3 wide behind us. Good run here. We can try to make something happen, not going below that yellow line that is out of bounds here at the plate track. So we need to hold this yellow line as much as we can, especially if the AI decides to get froggy and go 4 wide on us. The spotter is not programmed to say 4 wide. 3 wide is all the spotter will say, even though you may have 4 cars to your outside. 3 wide is all the spotter is going to say. So if we're down here on the bottom, we have to make sure we are glued to that yellow line, getting a good push from Paul Menard, looking under Michael McDowell. McDowell will get to the bottom, and good run on the bottom. Looking under Chase Elliott here. Good to see the Chevys are doing a little bit of something. Kyle Larson in front of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., and even Landon Castle in the 00 is up here, and you can see in front of us 4 wide. We've got McDowell, Suarez, and Harvick, and I couldn't see who that 4th car was, but as you can see, these guys aren't shy. I believe that was Truex. Truex trying to force the issue coming down to the bottom, but the high lane doesn't give up on this particular car set or this particular track. The high lane will get that run. As you can see, the high lane working together, Chase Elliott and the 22 of Joey Logano, and in the extreme high line is Kurt Busch and Denny Hamlin pushing him. So we've got 3 lines all working at the same time. Tight pack racing is what you would expect here at Talladega. Yeah, turn 4 is really good for us. We can get that run here, see if we can get the pull off McDowell and get under Suarez. We do indeed, and we will get right to the back bumper of McDowell. We can't go any lower, although right here's the yellow line, and we'll force the issue, get to the bottom and try to get in clean air and be in front of the wreck if it happens. If something goes wrong here, it's liable to take out a ton of cars, which I guess is the appeal of the plate tracks. Drivers themselves aren't too keen on it unless your name is Earnhardt. So we'll see if we can channel some of that Dale Earnhardt magic here at Talladega. We've got Landon Castle pushing us up the middle. Martin Truex all alone in the combat zone on the bottom. We're lined up behind Clint Boyer here. Austin Dillon to the outside of us. And it looks like the Stewart-Haas guys, Almirola and Boyer, are having a good day. Harvick was up here, but I think Harvick is slipping back, unfortunately. And Ryan Blaney, the winner from Richmond, is coming off of a very strong week, or a break. if you will, and he's out front, but we'll see if we can take that. We're on the chip, flashing red on the tack. Engine was not made to do much more than that right on the back bumper of Blaney, and we're actually clear, and we can push Blaney forward just a little bit, but since this is Talladega BR, I'm going to get into the high lane and see if old Eric Almirola can give us a push around Blaney. Can't really side draft in NASCAR Racing 2003. It's a little too old to simulate side drafting, and I think it's actually hard to simulate, like even in iRacing, the side draft, but we'll make it look good, that's for sure. So Michael McDowell, he's pretty decent. Hey, Michael McDowell decides to take the middle line. I believe we're three wide, so we're going to run the wall and see, but I mean, if Eric Almirola gets his nose in there, in fact, we might be 4 wide. You can see how close McDowell is to us. We just got to be sure to be careful when we come off the corner not to get up into the wall. Almirola will take that spot. We'll come off the turn, not get into the wall, thankfully, and get that pull down the back straightaway. We got the pull from McDowell. McDowell abandons us. Let's see if we can get the pull off Blaney and clear Almirola. We can just barely, but Almirola sticks to the bottom. I don't think we're in danger mode anymore, but man, that was tight racing. Brandon leading the bottom line with Chase Elliott in tow and Bubba Wallace behind him. So the young gun showing some muscle here. Since Gillette left this sport, is young guns even a thing? I don't believe it is. But we're going to get under Almirola, and we will have our wingman, Brandon, pushing us up through this pack as much as we can. Be in front of the wreck, that's our motto. Last season, we tried to hang back and let the wreck happen, but this year we're a little bit more aggressive to see if we can get to the front, and Martin Truex Jr. is out front. Martin having a difficult year so far, not really putting up the numbers that we expect from Martin Truex Jr., so a win would be big for him. And I mean, speaking of which, it would be even bigger for Michael McDowell, who really doesn't have a shot at the top 16, but a win would put him in. Same for Daniel Suarez. So we've got a lot of guys here, but coming down pit road, myself and Brandon, we are just within our fuel window. 3,500 in second gear is the speed, and since we didn't qualify too awful well, pit road is going to be right here before the NASCAR stand here. So right sides and fuel, boys, let's go. Right sides are on. Brandon, I don't believe took tires. I wasn't looking in my mirror, but we'll be behind Brandon. And we're the only cars that decided to pit just as we got into the window. This will put us nearly bang on, as close on fuel as we can possibly get. Riding in the draft, we may be able to save a few, and if the yellow flag were to come out now, we would definitely be well within reach of the finish. We're just going to bide our time here, link up, draft up, and keep our speed, or at least I hope that's the goal. Brandon seems to be content to head out there on his own, but we're getting up to speed here on the apron. I don't see any cars behind us, so pitting, you know, from the lead pack, it buys us, you know, those precious seconds that we need to get out and stay out front. Yeah, we're starting to get a pull on Brandon here, so we'll be able to link up and really draft hard while the rest of these guys pit. So it's going to be a question of how much do they brake going to pit road, and how much does it take them to speed up. Since I had the momentum, I'll get to the high lane and pass Brandon. He'll get right behind us and we will link up. Looking for cars on pit road, and I don't see anybody just yet, but that's fine. We're linked up. We should be fast enough to stay in front of any pack that decides to come in front of us, if they do. And always, we are out of the danger zone, out of the eye of the storm, if they decide to crash coming to pit road. Talladega is known for 3 and 4 and 5 wide cars trying to get on pit road and slow down, and you know, these AI are no different. So if they can't come down to pit road in a nice orderly fashion, that may bring out the yellow, and we won't have to pit. We should pass everyone that is pitting, and when everyone else pits, we'll just stay out. So as long as we don't go a lap down here, and we haven't, we are sitting pretty. If the yellow were to come out, looking to the left to see if any other cars are on pit road, I don't see any yet. So those guys are going deep. I don't think we're going to have a fuel debacle like we had at Richmond, where the drivers decided to pit way too early, or you know, not at all, and just run their fuel tanks dry for some odd reason, but we should be okay. Brandon got into us a little bit drifting up the track. Maybe he had to hit the brakes or roll out of the gas to keep from hitting us. The car's pretty stable. If he did get into us in the corners, I think I could have caught it, especially if he pushed the right rear. But if he got into the left rear, yeah, that could have been disastrous for both of us, get caught up in each other's crash. But as long as he's in tow, I'm feeling pretty good. We'll be able to work together to get through any pack that may come in front of us. All right, glancing to the left once more, looking for cars on pit road. I do see a couple, so they are coming to pit road. So these will be for position, and cars are coming off pit road. I saw Kyle Busch there. I see the Richard Childress car. There's Kevin Harvick and Larson passing Keselowski on the outside. It'll be interesting to see if those guys link up. Someone like William Byron here, if he can't get that pull, he's going to be left pretty much all alone. Let's see if we can pull off of McDowell as well. Brandon right there on our back bumper, ready to give us a shove. We're going to go to the outside, and you can see how the leaders, Eric Almirola, has gotten separated. We should be able to catch Almirola fairly quickly, unless he nuzzles up to Ryan Blaney, who I believe is the leader, or is that Truex back out front commanding the lead. And yeah, once we start getting that pull off of Almirola, who is all alone, we are going to be making hay. Passing all these cars, you know, they're for position, so it's good that we're passing them, but they ain't got a chance to catch us now. We are hauling the mail. Unless a yellow flag were to come out to bunch us all together, I think this group that you see here is going to be for the lead. So we should be getting a little bit of a sniff from Almirola, who Chase Elliott might be able to blend in and start getting that draft as well. So Chase Elliott with a good launch off pit road will get the little pull from Chase, get around his outside. If he can get behind Brandon, he will be right up here in this pack with us. It looks like Truex is trying to pass Blaney, which is going to help us since we are all ahead full. And yeah, we have caught down that lead quite extensively. I believe pit stops have cycled through, so we are running in 4th place here. And looks like we'll make short work of Almirola. Going to the outside, we'll get the pull off Ryan Blaney, unless Almirola gets a pull off Truex. It's going to be interesting coming off the backstretch here. We're going to get that launch off of turn 2, and Almirola will be able to blend in behind Brandon no problem. So do not count Eric Almirola out of this race for sure. He is going to be a factor, I believe. So Blaney looks to the inside. Let's see if we can punch the middle. Truex is leaving a lane, and we'll be on the outside of Blaney. Will Brandon follow us through? It looks like he sticks to the bottom, and with Blaney, we'll get to the outside and get the push from Truex. Brandon actually making a move for the lead here, coming down to the stripe. I don't know who's going to lead this lap, but Brandon and I side by side for the lead, and we've got Blaney, Truex, and Almirola behind us in tow. It's going to come down to who the AI decides to help, and right now it is the bottom lane. Brandon's going to get the run. We'll get right behind him and settle in. See if we can get this run here. Give Brandon just a tap, get him going a little bit forward. We don't want these guys behind us to really close up the gap and start making runs themselves. Looks like Blaney looking down to the bottom. We entered too narrow, and we washed up a bit. I'll have to give Blaney the spot, but we've got Almirola up top. Truex trying to fill the hole. He does, and we're getting the pull off Brandon now. On the outside of Truex, he's all alone. That should prove fruitful for us as we stick to Ryan Blaney like glue. Let's get to his outside. Brandon up top helping us out, trying to give us the pull off of Blaney. And Almirola's dropping back a bit. What I'd like to see is either Truex go to the high lane and abandon Blaney, or, you know, Almirola come up and start giving us a shove. Lap traffic, I don't think, is going to be a factor. We are narrowing the race here, where we've only got a few laps to go. It's coming down to it. Brandon blocks the bottom and the run from Truex. Will we clear Blaney? Just barely. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. In fact, it looks like Truex gives Blaney a shove. We get the push on the bottom under Brandon. He left the door open, and Blaney will follow us through. Truex sells behind Blaney. Brandon, I don't know if he'll get in front of Blaney. He thinks about it. We'll go up to block and keep that high lane moving. And I tell you, this is a knockout, drag-out battle for the lead. This is those Reminds me of the tandem draft days where two cars were just like glued to each other and they were hauling the mail, that is for sure. So we're sticking to the yellow line, drifting up right by the wall. We'll look for a run behind. Brandon can tend to stay right behind us and give us a push, much like we did for him, trying to stay out in front of these AI cars. We don't want them to get grouped up together and double or triple team us here. It's all about your help and who you have with you. Looks like Truex is glued to Brandon right now. I think the run and that energy will be down low if we don't protect it. Blaney looking below Truex. So if Blaney can get under Truex, Blaney will get up to Brandon. And Almirola is still back there. Almirola may be a big player by the time this race is done. Glued to the bumper, myself and Brandon in a tandem, Blaney and Truex in another tandem, and I believe Almirola is right back there with Blaney as well, and this is the lead pack. I don't see anybody behind us. We got off pit road so quick and got merged together. There goes Brandon. Truex goes with him. Nope, Truex abandons him and gets to our rear bumper. That's going to help us out on the high lane. If Blaney decides to go with Brandon. There's the push coming from the bottom. We've got Truex up top, so a two-car tandem. Brandon and Blaney, myself and Truex and Almirola, the odd man out. Oh, this is going to get dicey here. I don't know who is going to win this one, but white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, side by side. 2.66 miles to finish it. We've got the run on the outside. I like what I'm seeing here. I think we'll have the momentum as long as Truex can stay there. Brandon gets a nose a little bit. Truex drops back and Blaney comes forward. That's going to generate momentum to the bottom. Here comes Truex to the outside. Hopefully he gives us a shove. There goes Brandon in a rear view. Almirola looks to the bottom. This is going to transfer that energy to the bottom. I don't know if we're going to clear him. We can't quite clear him. Almirola looking to the bottom of Blaney. It'll be a 3-car tango down at the bottom. Myself and Truex hung up top. If Truex can give us a shove here going into the dogleg, I think we'll be okay. Nope, Blaney drops back. It's myself and Brandon, and that is it. Brandon's got the nose. Let's try the crossover Tony Stewart style. And Regan Smith, fuel light comes on, but we did not have quite the effort at the end to get him. Brandon takes victory number 5 for the year. It's a good second place for us, and you can see how close we cut it on fuel. Fuel light is out, and my word, what a race. It was still a pack finish for sure. Let's see who's coming up. I believe that is Chase coming up. And yeah, you can see right here Keselowski and Larson, Suarez and Byron. They had a pack. And if they were up there in the lead, that finish could have looked a whole lot different. Let's take a look at those charges and see what we had here. We got around Brandon. On this lap here, I believe we went to the inside of turn 3, and this is where that run came with Truex and Blaney. So there we were, nose to tail, pushing Brandon. There was Truex. He abandoned Blaney just a bit. Now, somehow we are going to get a massive push. I think it was right there from Blaney, and as he goes down, I think his bumper was in us, and Brandon shuffles up the track, allows us to get the lead. And how about coming to the white flag? That was going to be intense for sure. So there we were coming off the corner, side by side. Let's look at it from TV1's perspective. I mean, we're paired up really nice. We got Truex behind us. Brandon's got Blaney behind him. Coming to the stripe. That's all it was. I think we were like side by side, really close, like hundredths of a second, maybe even thousandths. And as this lap transpired, you could see the point where we had the run coming off the turn. We're going to get that big push thanks to the BR grip. And Truex looks to the bottom just a skosh. We had the momentum. And could we have cleared Brandon? No, his fender was right there. That would have been a catastrophe had we moved down. But Blaney is much tighter to Brandon. You can see right there. That won Brandon the race, I think, is Blaney being so close. And we had the run there. Brandon moved up top. And then as soon as he did that, Blaney abandoned the bottom, and it was just a drag race side by side, but that was it. But let's take a look at the standings after Talladega. Brandon with 5 wins, myself with 3, Eric Almirola and Ryan Blaney, your other 2 big winners for the year. Martin Truex Jr. with his good run here at Talladega is in the transfer spot. How about Landon Castle? Just 6 spots out of the transfer. Poor Kyle Busch, 7 out of the way, and he can win. I just don't know why. I'm sure he's leading laps, but he just can't close it out. And it looks like still from 11th down to 20th is very tight. More likely 14th to 20th is still a very tight group. But that is going to do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you next week when we head to Dover. Take care.